Well, how we doing? Tuesday night, 7:44 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. I'm in the green room rocking in my rocking chair. Doing the old man thing. I wish I'd be on the front porch, but all you jackasses out there wanted these nice fall colored leaves because I can't wait till it's fall. I want to push and rush things. And, the leaves on the tree lasted, 2 weeks if you're lucky. And then the rains came in, the snow came in, the rains came in, the freezing weather came in, and now everything's miserable and cold and rainy and dredgy, and yeah, because you jackasses, I want to see colored leaves. Whatever. I hope you're fucking happy. It is what it is. I'm a spring, summer, late summer person. I don't mind fall to a certain degree, but my thing is, I know when fall is here, the back door is wintertime, and it all goes to shit then. But in about 6 weeks, it's Christmas time, so I hope most of you assholes have got your shit together and got your Christmas stuff started or halfway done. This year, basically for me, it's going to be pretty practical. Kids are going to get some clothes, what they need, socks, underwear, things like that. Maybe a couple of hoodies, a couple of 2 to 3 side items that's not clothes related, and that's about it really. I mean, kind of keep it simple, keep it real. I'm like a friend of mine, I'm not going to go out and get 2 loans just so my kids can open up 20 presents, and half the time they're not really happy about what they get, and then complain that I had to go out and take 2 loans to give my kids a Christmas. So, and I tell them all the time, just buy simple shit, buy their clothes, socks, underwear, shirts, something like that, undershirts. Get them a couple of side things, and there you go. It's done and over with. Well, no, I gotta go buy them name brand this, name brand that, and I'm just like, that's why you'll never have nothing, ever. And of course, I ain't gonna lie, he is a good dad. He takes care of his kids, but basically, I think his kids overrun his ass, and he don't have the kahunas to say, hey, enough's enough. And he just, kind of like the whipped dog, just drops his head down and goes and gets them wherever they want. And, a couple of his kids are very well groomed, behaved. And the other ones, well, yeah, it is what it is. As he says, it is what it is. That's where I got the is what it is thing from. Because it came a little bit. That's what he says all the time. So that's where I got it from. Kind of true. It's to the point. Now, I'm finally finished up some of my apples. Not where I really wanted to be at, but it's there. I got a pot of, my brain just farted. I got a pot of apple butter going, and I got 5 trays of sliced sugar cinnamon slices of apples I'm going to dehydrate. Those are going to be used later on for fried pies, and that's why I do them this way for. Usually what I try to do is I try to get a good amount of these coal apples and stuff like that. I didn't get the help that I was really wanting with people amongst the family to give me a hand to get things done. They were too worried about roadblocks and Xbox and everything else, so I just kind of did everything myself, and what didn't get done get processed went to another process, and what that didn't get done basically went to the goats and went to the chickens, and they got some side supplement dinner, and it is what it is. Now, I do plan on starting this new juice thing I've seen. I belong to a group on Facebook. It's like Grandma's Cooking or Grandma's Recipes. I can't remember. It's Grandma something. And this lady had taken some cranberries she had that were fresh and mixed them in a quart jar with some water, sugar. There's something else she put in it. And basically she water bathed, canned it, put them on the shelf. They sit for 6 to 8 weeks, and basically the sugary water form breaks down part of the fruit that's inside there, and it leaches stuff out like the flavoring and stuff, and basically becomes like a kind of like a sweet drink that's natural sorta. And yeah, so I'm gonna do that. I am gonna make some cranberry ones because cranberry's good for cleaning out your system and everything else. Even though there's gonna be some sugar in it, technically for me having sugar is bad, but I'm gonna use cane sugar. I'm not gonna use your GMO sugar. So that's gonna be a little difference, not by much, but a little bit. There's a few other things I'm going to be working on between now and say New Year's. It's like small side things. It's nothing really major. I got a big ass jug down here. Let me move my cup out of the way. Oh. Now, I like to repurpose a lot of items. I don't like just throwing stuff in the trash. Of course, the wife calls me a hoarder, a pack rat, a hoarder pack rat, and a few other things on top of it, which I don't mind because, if like I told her, I saved these pickle jars. They're a 1 gallon pickle jar. Now, if I was to throw these away and recycle the lids, being metal, that's fine. But then when I get these notions, where I want to make some stuff, then I'm going to have to get on Amazon and buy the same thing that we just threw away a couple weeks ago to a couple months ago. And if it's already here, why not just save it and reuse it? And that's what I do. So here's my Vlasic pickle jar. And here is all of my cayenne peppers that I grew and gathered through the summertime. Now, this brine I use in this is vinegar, garlic, and pickling salt. Oh, man, it smells so good. Man, it smells good. Think of a Texas Pete and a Louisiana hot sauce kind of like mixed together. Man, it smells good. Now, what I do is, which I know I probably shouldn't be doing this, but I take my peppers and I cut them in half. And then I stack them up inside here, pour my brine on top of it, so that way the peppers can absorb the brine easier. And by looking at my jar here, I'm probably going to have to put maybe a half a cup of vinegar in here to cover over some of these on top. They're starting to get kind of dryish. No, there's no mold or anything like that. This fermentation process is, oh man, it smells so good. Makes me want to dig into it already, but I can't, because these are going to sit until sometime in March, and this is when I'm going to process these to make hot sauce. Well, a flavored sauce. I use the word hot sauce on these because it's not hot. It's going to be a flavor sauce. Because I love flavor. I don't like heat. I can tolerate a little heat, but I'm not big on heat like some people. So the light kind of got dim because my heater kicked on. But this is going to be my hot sauce, and then probably process down in March. Do my content form of cooking it down, sifting it, grinding it up, turn it into chili powder. And yeah, this is going to be really good because I'll use a few bottles of this around the house, and I'll probably label a few bottles of this, take it to market with me, and do my magic there. I am going to redo a lot of things different that I did last year. Because once I get my mudroom built on the back of the house this year, it's going to happen. I don't care. I don't care if I got to sell everything that I own to build it. It's going to be done. And that's all I got to say. I got to have it because a lot of my cooking stuff I use in here, like my, I got tons of rings to mason jars and lids, and bags and sealers and jugs and jars and tons of jars over here that I could eventually, when I get the thing shelves put out there, I can load all that up, and it'll alleviate a lot of space in here, and we can use the space in here that I alleviate from my jars and jugs and everything else for more stocking of the pantry, things that we could really use, and don't have to be like, well, we're piling stuff up, because I have 6 cases of jars here and 4 cases of jars there. Of course, you can see behind me, I got jars here and I got jars there, and they're even above me, but you don't see there's jars above me. And then the second shelf behind me, where like my chest is right here, which you can't see either, I got grinders and old-fashioned hand crank pieces, and there's a lot of things that I use that are like 1940, 1950 retro kind of kitchen-y kind of things. And there's a lot of people I know, they're like, well, why do you have these old hand cranks? Yeah, they look cool, but why do you have a hand crank? And I tell them, I'm like, well, really good example. Let's just say in 2 weeks from now, we get a big ass storm come through, it knocks the power out, and we're out of power for, let's say, 3 days. Well, everything in your house that runs on electricity is useless. You can't make an omelet. You probably could, but you can't mix the stuff together. You can't scramble, like, say if you want to make pudding, you can't go in your kitchen and you probably could take a whisk. It'd take you forever to do it. But most people don't even own a whisk anymore. You say a whisk and people look at you like, what the hell's a whisk? And so yeah, but I can take my hand crank up here off the wall, stick it in the bowl, put my pudding, my milk, and my gelatin, or whatever you want to use, and I can sit there and just crank away within 5 to 10 minutes or so. I have me a bowl of pudding, and you'll be sitting there with whatever, trying to figure out how you're going to make something, because everything you own runs off electricity. Some things I do own runs off electricity. There's a lot of things that I do have requires good old-fashioned hand crank. And I got friends of mine, they're just like, why? Why don't you get modern time? Well, I live in modern time. There's a lot of things in modern time I don't like. Well, actually, there's more than a lot of things. There's a lot of things in modern time I do not like. Now, it does some things there is a convenience for. But here's the problem. Anytime there's a convenience, there's a price you got to pay for having that convenience. And that's how I look at it. I like a lot of the old-fashioned ways. I like a lot of the old-fashioned techniques because, of course, back then people would say the same thing, for this modern convenience, which is like antique now, they'd say the same thing. For this modern convenience, there's a price to pay. So, but the only thing I can really think of price to pay wise is depending on how long you use the crank and whatever. You might build up some muscles in your arm and your bicep or something else. You're getting a little bit of exercise in the process of eating. So, it is what it is. I sent a care package to a friend of mine down in Texas. I won't say the town he lives in. Not saying that. Now here, let me rewind this a little bit. A friend of mine lives down in Texas, southern part of the southeastern part of Texas. His old lady's ex is a stalker. Now I'm not saying he follows me on here or whatever, but just to keep it on the safe side. I won't say his name, and I won't say where he lives, other than he lives in Texas, and it's close to Brownsville. And good luck trying to pinpoint that, because Brownsville's pretty damn big. And I sent him a care, as I call it, a care package. And all some stuff I crafted and some stuff I had, and you know, I shipped it Saturday morning. He got it this afternoon. He was tickled pink. I mean, it was almost like a kid at Christmas time. It was great. And I told him, I said, this is like an experiment because I want to see what the package looks like when it got down there. I said, because soon, before the New Year's, I'm going to send you a larger package. And there's a few things, and I'm pretty sure he watches me on here, but I'm not for sure. But just to be on the safe side, I'm going to keep it kind of under the toboggan. There's a few things that I'm going to craft, and I'm going to ship to him. Just because, like I told him, you know, there's things that I shipped in that first care package from up here down there that they don't have at all. And he was tickled pink. And that's the thing. I mean, I don't care what the shipping is. You know, I have a friend of mine who lives down in Alabama, and I send him hot sauce I make every so often, and he gets mad because I won't let him pay me the shipping. And he goes, well, it costs money. It costs money. I'm like, dude, I don't care. As long as you receive it and you're enjoying it, and you really enjoy it like you say you are, the shipping doesn't matter to me. I mean, I don't care. He's like, yeah, but it costs money and everything else and blah, 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 blah. And I was like, I said, so that means whenever I ship you another package, you're going to refuse the package? He was like, well, no. And I'm like, then why worry about it? So, and some people I do charge shipping. A lot of people I don't. It doesn't really matter to me. Honestly, to me, deep down inside, if I have a product of mine that I put in a box and I ship it to you, and you use that product and you enjoy using that product, then that's all that matters to me. I don't, you know, and that's why I tell people all the time, sometimes I'm a shitty businessman. Because a lot of people, I mean, there's a lot of people that I went to market with that and they're like, well, I don't see why you give stuff away for. I don't see why, you know, you discount it as much as you do. I don't see why, you know, at the end of the day, instead of taking some stuff home, you give it away. And I tell people all the time, you know, if what I have will make somebody else happy, even for a day, if it'll make them happy just for a day, that's what matters to me. I don't care. You know, I don't care about the profit. I mean, I mean, I know I would love to make the money off everything and everything else, but you know, money's not everything to me. I mean, it helps on certain things, but you know, honestly and truthfully, money's not everything. Money doesn't make my world go around. If I can give you something I have that I'm not using, and it makes your day for the week, more power to you. And that's how it is, you know. And I actually and honestly, I think more people should be like that. But I do understand in times of like now with inflation going on, and it's going to get even worse in the next coming months. And so I can really see where people would be like, well, you're just stupid for, giving stuff away and not charging shipping. But, I don't care. You know, everybody wants to say, well, I can't wait till the leaves turn colors, let it be fall. Well, here's my thing. That put me to damper because it kind of ruined everything that I had plans for. So now, Thanksgiving is what? About a week away, give or take. And then about 2.5, well, I would say 2.5, probably about 3 weeks-ish will be Christmas. So, this is my thought process. Anything Thanksgiving and the day after Thanksgiving, to me, is Christmas. Well, actually and honestly, the day after Halloween starts Christmas. So, and there's a lot of people like, oh, it's crazy. Oh, blah, blah, it's only Thanksgiving yet. Well, it's already starting to get kind of cold, but you wanted the leaves to change color, and so they change color and they're falling off now, and now it's starting to get dreary and cold and everything else. Yep, it's starting to be Christmas, so it's going to be Christmas. Just like usually around here, a lot of people say the day after Labor Day starts Halloween. And because around here, Halloween is like a big thing. I'm talking a big thing. So, the day after Labor Day starts Halloween. So to me, the day after Halloween starts Christmas. And then there's people go, oh, there's Christmas stuff out, and there's Christmas stuff on the radio, and blah, 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 blah. So, and not saying that, I'm giving away things just because, or helping things out because it's that time of year. I do it year round regardless. But I kind of exceed it a little more this time of year than I would say like, in the spring and summer months. And I've already started working on my garden area a lot more. I've already got plans, things drawn out, little blueprints for my head to a piece of paper. I just got to get a little side money together to actually orchestrate how everything is going to take place in, say, late March, early April, so I can get things started, and so that way by May I can get a lot of the other things to fall into place. So early to mid-June I'll have a start of produce and everything else, and I can start preparing for the next, as everybody wants to refer to, the collapse of the U.S. Because yeah, this inflation thing, it's gonna make 2008 look like a miniature little bump in the road. So, and this is why I try to explain to people, and of course people, even my wife, she's like, the price of stuff's getting crazy. Price of stuff's getting crazy. I'm like, well, you gotta look at it this way. They shut the country down for 2 years. Then they paid people to sit on their ass at home and do nothing. And then, somewhere between trying to get back to normal, forcing everybody to take a jab, they went out and destroyed certain processing plants across the U.S. And then on top of it, now they're saying because these container ship things, oh, they're stuck in ports and stuff like that, and we can't get nothing off because there's not enough people, there's not enough contract help to get stuff moving around. Then there's a fuel shortage, and there's this shortage, and there's that shortage. Anytime you make a bump in the supply chain, you're talking about a catastrophic ripple that spreads like miles wide for one little bump. So every time there's like a little bump in the road, you're talking about a catastrophic ripple that's like spreading like I wouldn't say like a tsunami, but if you've ever been on the lake, when a great big ass bass boat goes right past you, the initial wake isn't that bad. But if you're within 20 or 30 yards away from the boat went by, you've gone from a little bump to like a larger wake. Like it's kind of like the ocean. You get these bigger little ripples that come across and come across. And that's basically what it's doing. So, and who you vote for does have a part to play in it. But for the most part, honestly and truthfully, it's, you know, everybody had Good Time Charlie sitting on your ass for 2 years and getting paid to not do anything. And now that people are trying to get back to normal, it's not working at all. And the more they try to get back to normal, the more they're basically stuck in a tar trap. And the faster they run, the stickier it gets and the more it digs in. So, and then on top of it, I would say probably by spring of 2023, oh yeah, it's going to get nasty. So, and here's another thing, like I was talking about over the summer. This is October started the 2022 winter crop. And the 22 winter crop was horrible. Because for 2022, we were living off of 2020 and 2021's winter crop. And yeah, that's why things were nice and smooth. And now that 2022 is here and the October's passed, and we're going into 2023 on the 2022 winter crop, and Dan and his whole lady, they can tell you, they're farmers. I'm going to tell you right now, it's looking bleak. And we have a farm too, but we do beef cattle. We don't do soybean like Dan and corn and what they do. Now we do some soybean, but it's small scale. And corn is small scale. But we do beef cattle, and it's a whole different ball game what we do than what they do. And yeah, I can tell you. Oh yeah. And then again, it is what it is. People on YouTube's been telling other people to prep and gather things and store things and consume things and everything else, and some of it is fear mongering, and I just shake my head at it. But at the same time, it's not really fear mongering. It's kind of like it was in my other video when I was telling my friends to buy silver. And they looked at me and said I was batshit stupid and crazy and everything else. Oh, you're crazy. Why do I do that for? Because eventually it's going to come back and kick you in the ass, and you're going to be hungry. And you're going to think, well, very last minute, I'm going to run to the store, grab a few things up. And it's going to be like it was in 2020, 2021, when everybody went to the stores and bought shit up and, fist fought over toilet paper and everything else. It's going to make that look like, a walk in the park. So, it is what it is, Y'all do what you want to do. I'll try to influence a little bit, shed some positive light. But if it gets down to where the food supply chain kind of gets a really hard crimp in it and everything else, unless you are immediate family, your ass is going to starve. That's all I got to tell you. Now, if you was to move, say, from Texas to Kentucky, you got to float your ass. I'd take care of you. But a lot of my friends around here, with an exception of maybe 3 people, I would help out as much as possible. Other than that, all you assholes are going to starve and starve and starve, because I won't give you a scrap of a bone. And some of y'all probably think, well, it's not very Christian-like. Well, it is what it is. And as Paul Harvey said a long time ago, and if some of y'all probably don't know who Paul Harvey is, Google it. Get on YouTube. He's a great guy. You know, he was a great guy. I'm not for sure if he's still alive or not. He could be dead. Hell, who knows? I can't remember half the stuff that goes on anyway. But as Paul Harvey said, for the rest of the story, I bid you farewell.